Hi, hello, how are ya? My name is Chef Kennedy, and I am a chef with over 5 years experience in the New York restaurant scene. I'm on a mission to eat and create the world's most delicious food that just happens to be vegan. Now today we are making coconut guava thumbprint cookies. Why guava, you may ask? Well, maybe you didn't ask, but I'm gonna tell you either way. A couple months ago, my dear coworker, hey Lulu, love you, brought in guava paste. Now I know guava paste is a staple in Latin cooking, but it's an unfamiliar ingredient to me. The first time I tasted, it was sweet and tangy and tropical all at the same time. Now, when I first started cooking, I would go to the grocery store and try to buy one ingredient that was unfamiliar to me so I could push myself outside of my comfort zone. I'm hoping to do that today with guava paste. I'm going to take an unfamiliar ingredient to myself and marry it to one of my favorite cookies of all time, the thumbprint cookie. If all goes well, I'm hoping that I'll get 2 thumbs up. Get it? Like thumbprint cookies? Stick to cooking? Okay, got it. Let's go. Okay, for these cookies, we're gonna need coconut, pecans, guava paste, flour, vanilla extract, and sugar. We're going to start off by toasting pecans and coconut, and that's going to deepen and intensify the flavors. For the pecans, we're just going to chop this really finely to add to our dry mix. Just a tip, I like to keep my fingers on the tip of the knife, just making sure that they don't get caught up in the chopping action. And you just want to go back and forth. And also use the back of the blade when you're gathering the pecans. This is just going to prevent your blade from dulling quickly. Once you have that desired texture, they should be broken down nice and even and ready to go in the dry mix. We're going to add our toasted coconut to the pecans and just set those right aside. These smell amazing. For the guava paste, I just melted it down with some water till it had a jam-like texture. Now for the wet, we're going to start with some cornstarch and cold water. This is going to be our egg replacer or the binder. Just make sure to remove any lumps that are here. And also keep in mind to always use cold water. That activates the cornstarch. Now add in your sugar, brown sugar, vanilla extract, canola oil, and coconut oil. You just want to give that a good mix and almost emulsify the sugars and the oil together. This will settle a bit as you mix the dry, but you can just revive it with whisking it before you add it to the dry mix. For the dry, we're going to start with all-purpose flour, followed by baking soda, salt, cinnamon, and of course the coconut pecan mixture. Now you can just mix those ingredients together, and I like to create a well so that I can add my wet into my dry. Whisk the wet together and slowly add it to your dry ingredients, using a spatula just to get every last bit of the wet mix. At first, I like to start off with a whisk to incorporate till it gets too lumpy, and then I'll switch over to a spatula. After that, I'm going to switch to my favorite ingredients of the kitchen, my hands. Just make sure to mix well and get all of that flour, coconut, pecans evenly distributed. Okay, now it's time to start portioning our cookies. Usually I would use an ice cream scoop to make even cookies. I don't have that today, so I'm using a tablespoon. And this is just gonna make sure that your cookies cook evenly and they look professional. Using the base of my thumb, I'm just gonna lightly flatten each cookie, just prepping them for the thumbprint. And as I'm doing this, they might start to crack a little bit on the edges, so just tuck the edges around so your cookies are uniform. Now use the base of your thumbnail and start creating that divot. And again, you also want to tuck in the sides to prevent any cracking from happening. Now that that's done, it's time to add in that guava paste. For the guava, it does start to solidify as it cools, so make sure it's warm, not hot when you use it. And we're just gonna add about a half teaspoon to a teaspoon of the guava per cookie. Now, if you'd like to substitute another jam, feel free. Raspberry or apricot would be delicious in here. I would suggest using a seedless jam for these cookies. Once you have all of your jam in the cookies, it's time to throw them in the oven for 400 degrees for 7 minutes. I interrupt this baking break for a dance break. Okay, our cookies just came out of the oven. They are looking so fine. I like to always underbake my cookies slightly. This is gonna make a nice, chewy, soft cookie texture. If you turn them over, you can see that they're lightly golden and just perfect. Let's break into one of these luscious cookies. Oh, wow. Okay, so our cookies are hot and fresh out of the oven, and it's time for the moment we've all been waiting for, the taste test. Oh. These are insanely good. Wow, that like tart guava paste against the toasted coconut and pecans. Love it. It's like if a pecan Sandy went on a tropical vacation and had a love child, that would be these cookies. I hope this inspires you to try something outside of your comfort zone. You never know, there could be something delicious waiting for you on the other side of that rainbow. From my kitchen to yours, happy baking.